Who's the worst psychopath you've ever met? I worked at this insurance office downtown with this guy named Derek. Super friendly, always bringing coffee for everyone, helped new employees learn the computer system. The kind of guy who remembered your birthday and asked about your kids. Everyone loved Derek. He'd been there 8 years, had perfect attendance, never complained about overtime. But something felt off about him. Like when coworkers talked about their problems, Derek would get this weird look in his eyes. Not sympathy, more like he was studying them. One day, my coworker Lisa was crying because her dog got hit by a car. Derek walked over with tissues and said all the right things. "I'm so sorry, that must be devastating." But I was sitting right there. I saw his face when she wasn't looking. He was smiling, not a little smirk, a full-on smile like someone told him the funniest joke ever. That weekend, I ran into Derek at Home Depot. He was buying zip ties, industrial bleach, and a shovel. When he saw me, he quickly grabbed some flower seeds and acted like he was gardening. "Spring planting season," he laughed nervously. But it was November in Minnesota. Nothing grows in November here. I started paying closer attention to Derek after that. During lunch breaks, he'd scroll through news articles about murders and accidents. Really focused, like he was studying for a test. He had this notebook where he'd write stuff down. I caught glimpses of it once. Names, addresses, personal details about people from our office. When Sarah from accounting got divorced, Derek immediately offered to help her move. She told me later he kept asking weird questions about her new apartment. Did she live alone? Were the neighbors close by? Did anyone have spare keys? What time did she usually get home from work? Sarah thought he was just being helpful, but something about the way he asked made her uncomfortable. Then there was the incident with Kelly from Human Resources. Her car wouldn't start one morning, so Derek offered to give her a ride home. She said he took this really long route through empty back roads, kept making comments about how isolated the area was, how nobody would hear you scream out there. When Kelly asked him to just take the highway, Derek got this cold look and said, "I thought you might enjoy the scenic route." The breaking point came during our Christmas party at this hotel downtown. Derek had been drinking, which was really unusual for him. He never drank at work events. He started telling this story about finding an injured bird as a kid. Everyone gathered around because Derek never talked about his childhood. "I wanted to help it," he said, grinning in this weird way. "So I kept it in a shoebox in my room, fed it every day, gave it water, but it kept trying to escape. Everyone was listening, thinking this was going somewhere heartwarming. So I broke its wing," Derek continued, still smiling. "Both wings, actually. Then it couldn't fly away anymore. It lived for 3 more weeks before it finally died." The whole room went dead silent. You could hear the hotel's elevator music playing in the background. Derek looked around at our horrified faces and suddenly realized what he'd said. "I mean, I was just a dumb kid," he backtracked quickly. "I didn't know any better back then, but the damage was done." You could see it in everyone's eyes. That wasn't a childhood mistake story. That was something way darker. The next Monday, our office manager quietly announced Derek had been transferred to another location. No goodbye party, no farewell lunch, no forwarding address, just gone. 2 months later, I saw his picture on the evening news. Derek had been arrested for stalking 3 different women from his new office in Chicago. They found journals in his apartment with detailed plans about each victim, their daily routines, where they lived, what time they got home, who they talked to, what they were afraid of, photos taken through their windows, drawings of how he wanted to hurt them, voice recordings he'd made of their phone conversations. The police said they'd never seen anything like it. Pages and pages of violent fantasies written in perfect handwriting, organized by date and victim like some twisted business plan. During the trial, even more stuff came out. Derek had been doing this for 15 years. Different cities, different jobs, different women every time. He'd target female coworkers who seemed vulnerable, study them like science projects, then slowly work his way into their lives. The prosecutor called him a textbook psychopath. No empathy, no remorse, no ability to feel guilt. Just this cold calculation about how to control and destroy people. He got 25 years in prison, but here's what still gives me nightmares. For 8 whole years, I worked 3 feet away from this monster. Shared coffee with him every morning, laughed at his jokes, asked him to cover my shifts, even went to his birthday party, and I had absolutely no idea I was sitting next to someone who spent his evenings planning how to torture innocent women. The FBI found evidence linking him to at least 12 other cases across 4 different states. Women who'd mysteriously disappeared or been found dead. Sometimes the scariest predators are the ones who bring you coffee every morning, remember your kids' names, and ask how your weekend went.